What's going on? What's going on? I'm Eugene Napoleon. This is Napoleon's Corner. Before I get started, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. This is actually episode 232. 232. And this particular topic is what you seek. What you seek. Sometimes in life, there's a lot of material things that we want, we think we need, and that's not always necessarily the case. So you get so caught up in the materialistic things of what you want. You kind of forget just because you want it doesn't necessarily mean you need it. Doesn't mean that because you seek it is something good for you to have. So that's why I want to sit down and actually do this particular episode on what you seek. What you seek is not always what you need. And a lot of times we start playing games thinking, you start putting up different scenarios for the reasoning, the rationale for what we seek. And you start saying, well, you already have something. You already have it, right? But you think the grass is greener because you're seeking something over here. You have something here already, but you're seeking something over here. So you start putting these little things together in your head. Well, if I had that, I have this, but because that might be a little bit bigger, it might be a little shinier, it might be a little newer, that's better. That's not always the case. Life throws you a lot of curveballs. And if a bird in the hand beats two potential in the bush, right? If you already have something and it's working for you, it's beneficial for you, it's proven that it's worked, it's proven that it's good, why are you seeking something else? And I get it, it's human nature. I understand, it's human nature. We always want something that's bigger, better, newer, shinier, whatever. But it doesn't necessarily mean just because you want it, it's better. So the age-old adage of if it's broke, don't fix it, still applies to today, right? If you have something that's working for you and it's something that you've already worked to obtain and you have it in your grasp, I don't know if seeking something else is necessarily better. I'm going to pivot and put this into the scope of a sports scenario, okay? So right now, for college sports, specifically the college football portal, the portal is open right now, right? It's been open for 2 weeks, I believe. It closes on the 16th, which is Friday. January 16th, which is Friday. Okay. There's thousands of kids who already had scholarships to particular schools all around the country. And the minute the portal opened, let's say 4,000 kids dropped scholarships, bird in the hand, right? Drop scholarships for what can potentially be in the bush with all these other schools. Starting to find out that whatever information was given, it may have been poor information about what they were going to receive someplace else. And a lot of kids are still searching for scholarships elsewhere. There's not enough schools. The supply and demand is not, the math is not mathing. There's not enough schools for these kids to go to. So now guess what? You can't go back to the scholarship that you just left on the table and drop that school A because they just upgraded your spot. Your scholarship is gone. So now the options are slim to potentially none. You may have to go down a division or two just to get a scholarship someplace else. So if you were already at the Power 4 level, big conference school, and you're thinking somebody told you, maybe a street agent or a reputable agency, or your former coach may have told you, I can get you someplace over here, and you believed it, and you dropped your scholarship at a big Power 4 program to go to another Power 4 program that you thought was interested, or maybe they weren't interested, but then they got another kid that was more coveted than you in the portal. They didn't think they would get that kid. They got that kid and now left you out. Happens, right? So now you went from Power 4 to potentially Group of 5, which is still good, don't get me wrong. And then there's nothing there at the Power 5 level. So now you have to drop to FCS, right? And even with certain FCS programs, they're getting other kids too. So here's the deal. What you seek may not be what you need. If you already have something that you've been blessed to obtain already, and it's in your grasp, that may be exactly where you need to be. It may be. I've seen these instances happen all the time. In my business career, my educational career, all the time where, and you have, let me be clear. You have the right to make these decisions. Don't get me wrong. This is just a topic discussion, right? Obviously, you have the right to make whatever decision you want. It's your personal business. I'm just saying, for the grand scheme of things, a lot of times when you have something already, but you're seeking something else, and you didn't sit down and map this thing out in the appropriate way, this is a cautionary tale, just be careful, or make sure you really did your due diligence before you give up what's in this hand to go and try to get two potentially in this hand. Because if you give up what's in this hand and you come up empty, what do you have? So what you seek is not necessarily always what you need. You may have to sit down and really think long and hard about making that decision. Because once again, a lot of times in life, a lot of the material things that we think we need and want is not necessarily what we need. It might be what we want, but it's not necessarily what we need. God blesses us all with opportunities, vision, talent, all these different things. If you already have something, keep what you have, because seeking something different may cost you to have nothing in the long run. I'm Eugene Napoleon. This is Napoleon's Corner. I'll see you next week. Take care.